Hi everyone, it's Mark Gordon. I wanted to introduce my new book, Pure Healing. I know I've been off YouTube quite a while and it's good to be back up here. I've been focusing on this book. It's Pure Healing, a Practitioner's Guide to Cellular Purification and Regeneration. And it's basically my years of notes and observations all put together, kind of just organized into a proper pattern so it's easily understood. This is really simple teaching, of course, and Dr. Morse is the pioneer of this. He brought the lymphatic system and its complete alignment with healing to the planet, really. No one else has taught this. He's the guy that brought it. So thank you, Dr. Morse, for this. It's really your sewer system. Your lymph is your sewer system, 4 times bigger than the blood system. It's where your your immune system is, your immune cells. It surrounds every single one of your trillions of cells. It feeds them. I'm sorry, the blood feeds them. It's the sewage system. It's the bathroom. The kitchen is the blood, as Dr. Morse says. So basically, most of us have a dirty sewer unless we understand this. And this book teaches the simplicity of it. And basically, you learn to, basically open up the 3 doors to get the sewage out, and that's the kidneys, number 1. Door number 2 is the skin, also known as the 3rd kidney, a major channel of elimination, and also the bowels. So the 3 doors you learn to open those up, and we have many techniques to do that. And you start bringing in alkaline, mucusless food. It's called the mucusless diet. Professor Arnold Ehret brought that to our attention, was one of the pioneers in that. So basically, we bring in the proper chemistry, an alkalizing chemistry that does not create mucus in the body, and we open up the doors to get the stagnant mucus acids and toxins out. And that's really it. We use the assistance of herbs, and also there's physical things we can do to also assist this. And these are really easy techniques. Once you understand just the importance of getting back on high fruit, we're Homo sapien primates, and we're designed as fruitarians. And I've learned to look at fruit as real food. I used to think of it as just a snack, but it is real food. It is packed with nutrition. It has the exact fuel that we need, which is fructose, which is a monosaccharide, a very simple sugar that the body easily digests and uses. It does not even need insulin to transfer into the cells. It is pure fuel, and you don't want to fear the fruit. It's got plenty of fatty acids. You don't need to take in extra fats. And it also has amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein. So in other words, when you take in protein like a steak, the body has to go through a complex process and break that protein back down to amino acids. So the fruits are packed with that. Look at a male chimp, 4 foot tall, can rip you apart. Look at the gorillas. All the fruitarians are very strong. They don't eat meat. They might eat some termites once in a while just for a snack, but their primary diet is fruits and leaves and roots and such. So they're fruitarian vegetarians, and that's what we are. And we're a tropical species. We're designed to live in the tropics where there's a lot of fruit, and also we sweat a lot, but which we're not doing. So, to really open up that channel. So basically, this is a book about the simplicity of all this, how it ties into healing, all these things in the body. You'll see correlations to so many things. Almost all of them are tied to this. The book really points that out and makes it simple for you to follow this and teach it. My dream is to have just a planet full of healers. And once you understand and start practicing this knowledge, you are a practitioner and a healer. Simple as that. One of the highest healers there is. I know it sounds ridiculous because it is so simple, but this book will point that out and show you that. So I also included things from the great teachers like Hilton Hotema, who had a very spiritual side to him, like Dr. Morse does, and also tied into the physical healing too. Dr. Norman Walker, the great, oh, sorry, I lost my screen here. Dr. Norman Walker, the great juicer, I think he lived to 106. You know, the juicers are always the most healthy people I've found out. So, and some others, you know, this book kind of puts a lot of that together, all basically teaching the same thing: realign with nature, or God, if you will. Get back on the diets that's designed for us, what we thrive on, and live in alignment with that. And then we're going to use the herbs. They're basically just vegetables with an attitude, and we're going to use those herbs to really pull on the lymph system. They're tissue specific, these herbs. They'll go after certain tissues. They really are intelligent. They know what to do. We use the assistance of these herbs, especially in the beginning, and to get things working again. And then we also do the physical things as well, like Ed mentioned. There's all kinds of techniques, you know, saunas and lymphatic massages and some certain hydrotherapies you can do in the shower, things like that to just get things moving. So we're all healers. We're all just ready to be activated. The planet is ready to wake up and just take on these simple truths. You know, Hippocrates, the founder of medicine, said that let thy food be thy medicine, and fruits and herbs. This is all food, and we just basically use what's already here. We don't need all of this confusion and narcissism, these long degrees, all this stuff to be healers. We just realize the truth, we align with it, we practice it, and we spread the knowledge when we're convinced of it. Nothing like your own healing to convince you of this and the power of it. That's why I have such conviction, because I had basically systemic acidosis. I had a dirty sewer system all through my body. My joints and muscles were locked up. I was in a lot of pain, and I fixed that. And this is the way to do that. Many of us have systemic acidosis, which manifests in many ways, which I'll get into. But yeah, that's really it. And this book will help simplify. It's also a reference book. You can come back to it. It's really not meant to be read all at once. There's many sections that you can use as reference. And then whatever's your specific thing, you can focus on that. But it's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. It just kept going on and on. But I said it's going to be done when it's done. So anyways, I welcome comments and additions. This is a living book. It is kind of a wiki. I welcome other practitioners and everybody to really contribute. Send me notes, observations, and I'll be the gatekeeper, but I will do my best to keep it pure, keep it simple, and keep it updated and fresh and relevant. This field is changing rapidly. So many new things are coming in. Dry fasting came in the last couple of years. This has been a major breakthrough for us in establishing kidney filtration, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But this field is really growing. The information's coming in fast, and this book hopefully will keep up with it. So it's a living book. It's based on a subscription. You just basically sign up and you know, just come on for a month if you want, and download and print it out, or just stay with us. Anyways, it's all part of a group too. It's a membership, so there'll be other things. You know, videos and live broadcasts and tons of information to keep you on the path. All right, so let's just go through some of the contents of the book real quick. I just want to give you a brief overview of what's going on. So the first section in chapter 1 is basic cellular purification and regeneration. In this chapter, this is really the key chapter. This really is the book here, and it gives you all the tips. And I'm going to go through this particular chapter in just a few minutes. So that's the number 1. That teaches you the basics of cellular purification, how to get the lymph moving, how to clean it up, how to get the kidneys functioning again, and how to get stuff out through the skin door and through the bowels and so forth. Gives you the diet tips, all these kinds of things. So that is chapter 1 is it. So then I go into the specific areas. There's about 25 of them, breaking it down into the specific regions to basically give you clarification. Even though the main problem with all of us is we have systemic acidosis. We have a clogged sewer system, and this is really it. There's only really one problem, and that's it. But we drill down into some specific areas to help you. So chapter 2 is the blood and circulatory system. We go into the heart in that one, and all the the veins and the arteries and all that kind of stuff, all the problems with that and how they're fixed. Bones and connective tissues, that's the bones and the joints, of course, the spine, the neck, all that stuff. We get into the brain and nervous system. That's a big chapter there. Lots of things going up there. The brain and is the center of the nervous system, of course, and how the adrenals tie into the nervous system and the solar plexus, things like that. A little brief chapter on dental care. A lot of these dental problems are really acidosis. It's lymphatic stagnation turning to acids in the mouth, which means it's in the head and the neck area. So, especially people with their tonsils removed. So this shows you how it's really an acid problem and how to remedy that. Chapter 6 is emotional and mental issues. A lot of this is glandular. A lot of these problems, so-called mental illness and all this, is really glandular issues. And that's the great thing about purification. We get the pus and mucus out of all of these glands, out of all the tissues, and they just function better. It's like you go out and you buy a Ferrari and you put diesel fuel. Well, you got the wrong fuel in there. It's not even going to run like a 30-year-old Pinto. So we teach you how to just get the pus and mucus out of the body, take in the right chemistry, the right food, and then open the doors, do the herbs to get things moving, do some physical things, and all the glands clear up and rebalance themselves naturally. GI tract, same thing. We've gunked that up. The GI tract is in bad shape for most people. The proteins they really chew on us. They're acidic and they just get in there and they putrefy. Anyways, the GI tract of most of us is really in terrible shape. That's the center of the body, the trunk of the tree, if you will. So that really needs to be focused on. I look at a lot of eyes. I help a lot of people. I don't think I've ever seen anybody with a really good GI tract, a real perfect one. So most of them are in terrible shape, full of fungus, candida, full of acids, of diverticuli, these bowel pockets that just trap fecal matter and all kinds of pathogens. So we teach you how to clean that up and how to get the mucoid plaque out and so forth. Very important chapter, chapter 7. Chapter 8 is a short chapter. It's the immune system. Immune system is really the lymphatic system. That's where most of these cells are, these lymphocytes, the macrophages, natural killer cells, and so forth. Cleaning up the lymph system, doing this lymphatic purification, detoxification is the greatest thing you can do for your lymph system, for your immune system. We talk about in chapter 9 the kidneys in the urinary tract. Kidneys are it. Most people die of kidney disease, kidney failure. This is what traps the acids in the body and your sewer backs up. So once we get those kidneys opened up and filtering, the magic starts to happen. The healing really starts to happen. You open that main door and this sewage comes out of the body along with all these acids and toxins and pathogens and dead cells and proteins and so forth. So this is a really important chapter too, just to understand what the kidney function is. Lymphatic system, that's a chapter just to understand more about that and what the problems are with the lymphatic system. Chapter 11, parasites, candida especially. It's a fungus. A lot of people have it. It talks about that, how to get rid of that, how to get rid of the worms and what effects these have on us. Chapter 12, reproductive system, how to bring that up, how to rebalance that in both men and women. We got the respiratory system in chapter 13. How to clean up the lungs, very important, bronchioles. We've got skin, hair, and nails in chapter 14. That's really tied to the parathyroid and calcium utilization. We'll talk a lot about that. Chapter 15 is viral loads. A lot of people are suffering with these viral loads. You got a dirty sewer, and these critters, they just love it. They love to swim in the sewage. When you're hiking in the mountains, do you want to drink from that running stream, or do you want to drink out of that stagnant pond where all those fly larvae and all that just all that swamp stuff is, the algae and all the mosquitoes and all, so it's the same thing. So we clean up what's called the culturing medium, and these the way to get rid of these virals, you can't really kill them. They're proteins. They're very intelligent proteins. You gotta flush it out. You gotta really dig deep. You gotta restore cellular health too, and turn on that lymph system and that immune system. So talk about the viral loads. A lot of people have herpes. They can't get rid of it because they're just trying to treat it. We don't treat anything. This is not about treatment. This is not medical advice. This is about cleansing the body and letting the body's natural healing powers come through. And that's what it's about. It's not about treatments. We just want to clear out the obstructions, get out of the way of these incredible healing forces that are around us. They're the same forces that created you, and we just basically remove the obstructions. It's really simple, and they're invisible forces. So all healing is spiritual when you really look at it. So you could call this a spiritual technique as well. We've got in chapter 16, so-called cancer. Cancer cells are just damaged cells. They're damaged from acids. Yeah, sure, viruses can cause this, toxicity, radiation, things like that. But it's really about getting that sewer system cleaned up, getting that immune system turned back on. You know, these immune cells will target any cell that is damaged, anything that's not supposed to be in the body. They're targeted for removal and removed in a healthy lymphatic sewer system, healthy immune system. So it talks about that. You know, all of this is systemic acidosis. Even if you have what's called cancer in a certain area, you're full of acids everywhere. It's always systemic, so remember that. Chapter 17 is blood sugar issues like diabetes. Now this is glandular weakness, mostly pancreas and adrenals. It's not some mystery. And it's about the proper diet and getting the pus and mucus out of these glands and rebalancing things. Some of it's neurological, and we talk about that too. You know, the acids will destroy nerves too and weaken us, and you can have neurological problems too with the diabetes. 18 is the endocrine glands, showing you what their function is, what they do, how to rebalance them. Very, very important. 19 is liver gallbladder. The liver is a major chemical factory. It makes chemicals that bind with toxins. Of course, it stores the glycogen, the sugar, part of sugar metabolism. And it's a major organ in detoxification and also digestion. If you're not digesting properly, you're fermenting foods, and that's causing all kinds of fungal problems and acidosis problems. Gallbladder, same thing. It's for the digestion of fats mostly, and the manufacturing of bile that actually aids us in lymphatic purification. Herbal botanicals, this is a huge chapter. This took a long time to get through. It is really a reference chapter. It talks about all the different herbs we use. It groups them into groups and addresses them individually. I've given all my formulas. I'm an herbalist trained by Dr. Christopher's group, and I give all my formulas away. And so you can make them, you know, on your own. I can show you how to make your own tinctures, teas, how to use just raw herbs, things like that. So you can get herbs into the body economically. So this is a very important chapter. I also have standard protocols, written protocols, and I have some low budget protocols too to help. This can get expensive. So learning to make your own, learning to make your own tinctures and so forth can really cut your bill down. But get herbs in the body, they really assist us. Glandulars, these are basically animals. They're animal parts, the glands. So let's say you're taking an adrenal glandular, it's the adrenals of a cow or a pig that are ground up. And these are grass-fed animals. You want to insist on real, pure glandulars. But when your glands get in the presence of these animal glands of the same type, it stimulates them and kickstarts them. So we use these in the beginning to kickstart stubborn glands and get them functioning. 22, iridology. What a great science. Thank you to Dr. Bernard Jensen for bringing this to the West and westernizing it. It's not used for diagnostic purposes. It is really used to show us the health of the lymph system and where the problem areas are so we can address those a little more diligently. Of course, we always go after the entire body, but we can use herbs and techniques to go after specific areas. So iridology really helps us. It's really easy to learn. I have a lot of videos on YouTube that teaches you how the basics of this, and I give you all my information in this chapter. And I'm going to be uploading my particular worksheet when I do an iridology review on somebody. So this will really assist you in helping yourself and others. 23 is self-testing, things you can do to self-test your health and the health of your lymph system. You know, the checking the urine pH, the saliva pH, checking for kidney filtration, very important. Basal temperatures to check the thyroid, things like this to really help you. 24 is lab test guidelines. So you get some blood work done. It'll show you where the parameters are, what they mean. Very important there. Other protocols, these are physical protocols you can do, like hot and cold showers, neurolymphatic massage points, ear candling, things like this, the castor oil packs, all these things that will help you, you know, help you move lymph, which is the name of the game. And then 26 is an index, and 27 is a glossary, just to help you navigate. So I'm going to just go into chapter 1 because it is such an important chapter. I'm going to give you a real quick overview of this chapter here. So chapter 1, basic cellular purification and regeneration. So the first part is the introduction. The healing. The healing really is us getting out of the way to let these invisible forces that look, something's running the 70 trillion, some say 100 trillion cells in you right now. That force is the same force that created you. That is the same force that can heal you. So we want to get out of the way of that. We want to get out of the way of blocking that through the obstructions we put in the body by putting the wrong food in. And the genetics, you know, stuff is passed down to us. We can correct that though. But we want to let more of this healing in. We want to get out of the way of it. We want to purify the body where more of this comes in. And that's all we really do. It's that simple. We return to nature or God to be healed. We get on the food that's designed for us. We live a lifestyle that's designed for us to prosper. And we were meant to prosper and thrive here on this planet. And we learn how to avoid toxins. We're full of toxins right now on this planet. And it shows you how much of our suffering is absolutely needless. So that's just a quick introduction on the healing, letting this healing in. Number 2 is essential teachings, a quick biology lesson and chemistry lesson. Dr. Morse simplified this down. It's either acid or alkaline chemistry. Everything's acid or alkaline. We want to balance that out to the alkaline side. And it's just cells and 2 fluids, blood and lymph. Blood is the kitchen, lymph is the sewer system. It's really simple. It shows you how the lymph is your sewer system. You want to clean that sewer system. Makes a whole lot of sense. You don't want to make a nice cozy home for pathogens, you know, virals, bad bacteria, funguses. You want to have a nice free-flowing lymph system. Clean your sewer. The myth of disease, you know, all of this is really about acidosis and a dirty sewer system with a million different names. A lot of them named after doctors. You know, it's very narcissistic. So this disease is a myth, and treatment is a myth. There's not many things they can treat and cure. This is curative. This goes after the base root of the problem, a dirty sewer, acidosis. So diseases are really a myth. Very confusing. The treatments are complex, and they're not effective. They usually suppress symptoms only to have them arise much stronger down the line. Genetics are not written in stone. There's a thing called epigenetics. Genetics will change as you change. And this is very important for people that want to have children. You can start doing this purification work now, and your genetics will change, and you'll pass that on to your kids. Instead of having weaker kids because we get weaker, we start turning that around and creating stronger children. Genetics do change, and your genetics are at the point of birth. That's what's passed. So that's a great thing. Fix the cause and the symptoms go away. Yep. Your eyes tell you a lot about your health. Just quick little iridology hit there. Number 3, how to allow the healing. How do you let these divine forces in? You return to your natural diet. You don't fear fruit. Fruit is what you're supposed to be eating. It's highly energetic. It's full of nutrition. It has the amino acids, as I said, which are the building blocks of protein, fatty acids, vitamins, minerals, everything. It's a complete food. It's when you get on a high fruit diet, you're taking in more nutrition than you're ever used to. It's incredible. Using herbs, like I said, they're vegetables with an extreme attitude. They're here to help us, especially in the beginning, to really do some heavy lifting. Let the food be thy medicine. They're vegetables. Get your kidneys to filter. Very important. That's the doorway out. We have techniques on how to get those kidneys to filter. We'll get into that a little bit later. Clean the bowels and get regular. If you're not going 2 or 3 times a day, you're constipated. We got to keep the solid waste out of these bowels. If it sits in there, some people don't go but a few times a month, and that's just toxicity. It ferments even more. This stuff seeps out into the body, and it's just a real problem. So we want to get real regular here. Bowel cleaning is so super important. We want to get rid of what's called mucoid plaque. It's a plaque that lines our bowels, and it blocks the absorption of nutrition, and it traps toxins and acids. It's really bad. When it starts coming out of you, it is so toxic. A little brief talk about dry fasting. Dry fasting is where you don't take any food or water or anything in for a period of 14 hours minimum. We'll talk about that, how healing that is. Move your body every day. Lymph does not have its own pump like the heart and lungs for the blood, so you got to move the body. Muscle contraction helps move lymph. Open the skin door, get sweating. We're a tropical species. We're supposed to sweat in the tropics, but most of us don't live in the tropics, and we don't sweat enough. Most of our thyroids are down. We're not really sweating. Our basal temperatures aren't up, and we don't sweat. So you want to open that skin door, skin brushing, saunas, things like this. Parasite cleansing, super important. Most of us have a lot of fungus in us, candida and worms. You always want to do this at the beginning. You want to clean the liver and gallbladder in the beginning too. As I said, major chemical factory, major aid in digestion, metabolizing sugars and things. Get lots of rest. Rest is super important, of course. The healing passage used to be called the healing crisis. I like passage better. It does end. It can feel like a crisis. It's about when you start stirring the pot of acids and toxins, you can really, really go through some things, but you want to stick with it as much as you can and ride it out. And we'll talk about that in a minute. And then get on the path to Wellville. It's not that difficult. Open the 3 doors, get on the right diet, help it out with some exercise and some herbs, and you're on the path to you're walking that path. Okay, you can start right now. It's that quick. You'll be on the path right now if you decide to get a lot of fruit in your diet, get rid of meat, dairy, and grains and beans, and do these things. Cellular purification diet, number 4, very important. Living food gives you life. Yes, indeed. You'll have so much energy you won't know what to do with yourself. So many people say, Mark, I'm waking up at 4 in the morning, ready to hit the road. I said, go for it. Get up. Why not? Yeah. Say no to meat, dairy, and grains and beans, of course. They're acid forming, mucus forming. This is not what you want to put in your body on a daily basis. Sure, we're not all perfect. Once in a while we want to go have some fun, yeah. But they're not your primary diet. I would treat these as an occasional treat, and that's about it. You'll find when you really detoxify, really purify the body, you won't want these things. You may want to have a bite or two here and there, but you're not going to want them. They slow you down and they cause you pain. And even for people like me that have been doing this for years, I have to be very careful. Very small quantities. Get the best quality you can and enjoy those bites. Return to your original diet, the diet you were designed for, as I spoke about, the high fruit, the leaves, the tender leaves and the fruit. It's the magic. The human food hierarchy, what are the strongest purifiers? The citrus, the watermelon, the grapes, top of the mountain, and then you work your way down, and it shows you the hierarchy of the food. Living foods versus cooked, little brief hit on that. The protein myth, you don't need protein. I haven't had meat in 5 years. I don't miss it. I don't need it. I'm still strong. Like I said, you get plenty of amino acids in the fruit. Go tell a gorilla he's got to eat a steak to be big and strong. Come on. Most of your animals are not meat eaters, the strong ones. Your bulls and your horses, all that. They're all vegetarian. And look at the fruitarians. The fruitarians they've got the flexibility and the strength all put together. Amazing. Where am I going to get my fatty acids? We talk about that. Not all sugar is created equal. Carbohydrates, complex carbs, as in processed grains, just terrible. So much sugar. I talk about that study out of Harvard, talking about how a plain white bagel, a small bagel, one of those Sara Lee frozen bagels, has 5 times the amount of sugar in it than an orange or an apple. the glycemic load it's called. Look at that study. Just to Google Harvard Medical sugar, and you'll see it's amazing. Milk does not do a body good. Dairy is a foreign invader, a foreign protein. The body hits it with a mucus immune response and clogs you up. It's incredible how they get away with promoting this dairy. It does not do a body good. And there's also information out there that it actually lowers your bone density scores, not raises them. They teach it's got all this calcium. Yeah, but it's got all these acids and mucus that slows everything down, and you end up not getting the calcium utilization. Grains and beans are hard to digest. Yep, really hard. Tells you what to eat. A little talk about vitamin and mineral deficiencies and worries about that as you're starting on this. Section 5, weight control. Being overweight, underweight, how to gain weight, very important. A lot of people are skinny going into this. They start to lose weight and freak out. Talks about that. Talks about, being overweight, how to control that. When you get on the right diet, the weight just falls off. I lost 35 pounds just out of nowhere. Just getting off of the meat, dairy, grains, and processed flours and sugars. It's just incredible. Your body will go down to its fighting weight, its natural, perfect weight. I never ask anybody if if their weight. I just say, how do you feel at this weight? They say, well, I feel heavy. Well, okay, or I feel light. You'll know when you feel at the right weight. Mine's about 183 to 185. I'm 6'2". That's just my best weight. In the beginning of doing this, I dropped way down to 160. Everybody was freaking out, but the body came back. It knows where to go after it does a little deep cleaning. Grape fasting. This is really, really powerful. This is one of the highest healings there is, grape fasting. People with really, really serious issues always go on a grape fast, 20 to 40 days. These grapes are full of antioxidants. The resveratrol in the skins is amazing. You've got, the darker the better. The organic seeded are the best. The Concords are amazing. You can find organic seeded Concords, fantastic, locally grown. Wow, you're in heaven. But Dr. Morse has said that he's brought people back from, stage 4, things like this, with Walmart grapes. So you want to get the best you can, but sometimes that's not always possible. How to prepare these, how to prepare the grapes, how to veggie wash them, things like that, eating them whole, how much, how long, adding some lemon to really kick it up. So all about grape fasting there. Section 7, how to move lymph manually. Aerobic exercises like stretching opens up lymph channels. Breathing deeply. You can alkalize the blood in 10 minutes through breathing. And deep breathing actually can get lymph moving, gets that diaphragm really moving up and down to help push some lymph around. Skin brushing, massaging, lymphatic self-massage, amazing. Take notes on taking a sauna to really get that skin door open. Simple hydrotherapies you can do in the shower to really stimulate lymph movement. You can go from hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold. I'm sorry, hot to cold, cold to hot, hot to cold. You get it. This really acts like an accordion and really gets lymph moving. Castor oil packs, how to soften tough areas, especially lymph nodes and kidneys. This is really, really good stuff. How to move lymph in your legs. A lot of people have lymphatic stagnations in their legs. How to get that going. Doing enemas if you're not regular. Thymus thumping. The thymus is where immune cells, T cells, they mature there. And our thymus shrinks to nothing as we get older. So how to perk that up, very important. Section 8, using herbs for cellular purification. This is super important. Understanding herbs, a little brief knowledge on this. How to take your herbs, tinctures and capsules, how to take those, the right amounts. Teas and infusions, using dry herbs. You can take a little bit of dry herbs, throw them in your smoothie. That's like taking capsules. Same thing. You're getting the dry herbs in there, which work in certain areas better. I like tinctures and teas the best because they get absorbed easiest, but the dry herbs get in and they kind of sit around in that GI tract a lot longer and the urinary tract, so they can really, really last and focus in those areas. How to brew an herbal tea, easy 3-cup brewing. How to brew an herbal infusion. Infusion is nothing but a tea that's just more deeply brewed. Teach you how to do that. How to make your own tinctures, save a lot of money. With about $10 of herbs, you can make $100 worth of tincture. So this is really, really great if you're trying to save money. And then teas and infusions versus tinctures, the benefits. Poultices, compresses, fomentations. These are things that you apply externally using herbs. Really important to focus in on certain areas, especially things at the skin level. So that's important there. I'm sorry, section 9, kidney filtration. This is it right here. Not much healing happens unless those kidneys are opened up and filtering. It teaches you the basics of this and how to test your urine, how fruit can get the kidneys filtering. You'll see the clouds in your urine. You'll know you're filtering. It's fantastic. Using herbs to help open up those kidneys. Going after those adrenals, they sit on top of the kidneys. They control them. Really important. How dry fasting can get stubborn kidneys opened up, the importance of moving lymph physically, avoiding overstimulation. So if your kidneys aren't filtering and you start moving lymph physically or even with herbs too much towards those kidneys and there's nowhere to go, you can lock those kidneys up even more. So it talks about that and some tips on how to establish kidney filtration. Section 10 is the healing passage or healing crisis. You're stirring the pot, you're kicking up a lot of stuff, especially in the beginning. It teaches you about wearing the robe and riding the bull, how to hang in there. Not too long though, it's a fine line, but sometimes this can get pretty intense. So it kind of gives you some tips on how to navigate these stormy waters sometimes. Not everybody goes through this, but I did. I went through a really intense healing episode where I was kicking up a lot of mucus out of my lungs. And I found out, I came to realize that I had asthma as a kid and that I was digging very, very deeply into the lungs to go after some really, really latent acidosis deep down the lungs. And as I was uncovering that, those toxins and acids, the body was hitting it with mucus as an immune response. And I was creating a lot of mucus, buckets and buckets. And I didn't understand where it was coming from. Well, it was coming, I was manufacturing it. It wasn't, all that mucus wasn't in me, so to speak. I was making it as I was uncovering. So it talks about that, how fevers can be beneficial, some cautions, how to slow down and break a detox. And then, like I said, where's all this mucus coming from? So a nice little chapter there showing you what to do if you get into trouble. Dry fasting, a whole little section on dry fasting, why you should fast, what dry fasting is. Basically, let's say, tomorrow night, I'm not eating any or drinking anything after 6 p.m. and I won't have anything until 8 p.m. in the morning. Nothing, not even brushing my teeth, taking a shower, nothing. You've just done 14 hours dry. Okay, this really helps open up the kidneys. It really, really improves a lot of things in the body. So we'll talk about that. Using herbal tinctures during dry fasting and what this means to healing. Okay, so a nice little nice little section there. And finally, in chapter 1, we've got section 12, the pituitary endocrine gland overview. The pituitary, the master gland, controls all of the other glands. The pineal is your melatonin for sleep, your spiritual third eye. Pancreas is your that's for digestion. It's digestive enzymes. It makes those. Insulin for sugar transfer to the cells, and sodium bicarbonate to neutralize acids from the stomach. Stomach manufactures that hydrochloric acid, so the pancreas will buffer that with sodium bicarbonate production. Thyroid for your metabolism, for your body temperature, also helps the thyroid utilize calcium. Parathyroid, calcium utilization for the bones, for the joints, for the skin, for the blood vessels, for the strength of all the organs. Really, really important for depression. So we'll talk about the parathyroid and that's a relationship to cellular purification and maintaining the strength of the body, the integrity of the body tissues, really important. The thymus, like I said, it's a major immune system gland. Your T cells mature there. How to improve that, how to clean that up, get the most function we can out of it. Last but not least, the adrenals, they sit on top of the kidneys. They control the kidneys, very important for kidney filtration. And they also make neurotransmitters that run the autonomic nervous system. They make steroids that are anti-inflammatory. These corticosteroids are anti-inflammatory to the body. So major part of the alkalization and the healing of the acidosis in the body. They also metabolize most of your minerals, including iron. So super important for anemia and all that. They metabolize sugars, so super important for people with the blood sugar issues. So these little glands are the size of a walnut. They're amazing. So that's section one. That's chapter one. Like I say, it's really the whole thing right there. And then we'll go into the different chapters. And in this contents, I kind of drill down each chapter. I'm not going to go into them, but like for instance, in blood and circulatory, we talk about heart rate, different heart rate issues like bradycardia. We have a section on coronary heart disease and how that relates to a dirty sewer, congestive heart failure, all this stuff. So yeah, we just kind of this index will this contents will show you how we drill down into each section. So you can use this as a reference to go quickly to the things that you're interested in. So that's it. I look forward to you guys joining the group and learning a lot. Like I say, I want to have a lot of healers out there, and I know Dr. Morse feels the same way. Let's populate this planet with healers. It's really easy. It really truly is. And you'll see, you'll have the more you do this, the more you practice it on yourself, the more faith you will have to teach it. And that was with me. You'll have conviction in your words, and you'll know that it's truth. But I think it requires, unless you are a person of just a lot of faith, I think it requires, like, I'm kind of a doubter. They call me Mark the Doubter. And I have to be proven things. I had to prove it to myself. And so yeah, so whatever it takes, I welcome you. I welcome your input. As I said, let's make this a wiki. Let's keep this current and with the highest information possible. And I'll be the gatekeeper of that, and we'll just purify this and evolve it, and keep simplifying, keep polishing it. And I look forward to being of service. All right. So thank you very much, and take care.